How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs co-beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today as we continue our series following every single week that the Kansas City Chiefs play. We break down the offensive line, starting offensive line grades, that is, for the entirety of the season. We've been through 5 weeks now, and the Kansas City Chiefs unfortunately let a game slip away after being up 14-0 against the Jacksonville Jaguars Monday Night Football. It is a loss that I think will really cause some people to really think within the organizations like, oh, what are we really looking for out of this team? The team on paper, they've got the pieces. The production on the field, though, has not been super stellar thus far, whether that be 2 losses in the beginning, then you kind of rebound it with a good 2-stretch win streak, and then you lost a game that seemed winnable from the beginning. Now you have to go up against the Detroit Lions in week 6. But regardless, here are the offensive line grades, the starters, that is, from week 5, according to Pro Football Focus. And I just want to come out and say I think that the offensive line had one of the best games that they've ever had in recent memory that I can think of. Patrick Mahomes was not brought down whatsoever. I thought the coverage and the protection was very well, and the grades really stand out for it. So without further ado, let's get into it, starting with the starting left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2025 NFL Draft first-round pick, Josh Simmons. He had a overall Pro Football Focus grade of a 76.1 with a pass blocking grade of an 83.5 and a run blocking grade of 66.1. Now, that's pretty good, I would say, for a rookie. Compared to last week, he had a 72 overall, a 71.1 pass grade, and a 69.4 run block grade. So I would say that Simmons is making strides in the right direction, especially with that left side. And when you look at things, last year, a lot of the losses or the big losses for Kansas City came in the form of the offensive line not being able to protect Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't the case on Monday, and I think that is as blatantly as obvious as it gets. There are a lot of things that went wrong defensively for Kansas City, but the offensive line did their job, and Josh Simmons really made his impact known, in my opinion. Going over to left guard for Kingsley Suamataia, he did have a penalty, but overall he was graded with a 64.4. He took a step back compared to last week as he had a 73.7 overall Pro Football Focus grade that week. All in all, Kingsley Suamataia, his run blocking defense wasn't the best. It had a 57.6. His pass blocking was a 75.1. So there are still some things to pay attention to. There was a lot of penalties that really plagued the Kansas City Chiefs on both sides of the ball. And unfortunately, Kingsley Suamataia was a part of it. But just for that one play. All in all, though, I would like to see more of what we saw in week 4 compared to what we saw in week 5 out of this second-year player. Creed Humphrey, once again, the starting center for Kansas City. He took a small step back from how he was last week, but he's still the top-rated offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs after week 5. Overall grade with an 81.3, a pass block grade of a 79, and a run block grade of an 82.1. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Creed Humphrey is arguably the best center, and I think that it maybe not so much arguably anymore. He displays it in and out every single week, and I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are very lucky to have him. But him being the strong center up there, that's what helps the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole on the offensive line stay really center, stayed stern, powerful. And I think that Creed Humphrey once again showed his worth in week 5. The next guy we're talking about, Trey Smith, right guard. He took a pretty big step back, and it was a game that he would not probably be happy to see with his performance, at least from the way that Pro Football Focus graded him. He had a 57.8 overall grade, which I believe is his lowest for the entire season thus far. It is an area that we have to keep tabs on going forward. Just checking my notes just then. But yeah, he had a 57.8 overall grade, a 64.1 pass blocking grade, and a 53.2 run blocking grade. More or less, every now and then guys can have a down game. And I would say that this was unfortunately a down game for Trey Smith, though, he didn't cause any penalties. He was out there for 64 snaps. I think that that's the best that you can get out of him in the time that it was. I know that there's a better production player of caliber that he is, and I think that it's something going forward that he knows he has to improve on if the Kansas City Chiefs want to win. And I really do think that the offense and the offensive line gave Patrick Mahomes and the rest of his weapons in the receiving room, or whether that be the running back room as well, a chance to win in this game. I think that defense really brought them down. Jawan Taylor, I have been very critical of Jawan Taylor for the beginning part of the season, and I mean, I guess it's kind of warranted. He's the most penalized player in the National Football League recently, and he had another one, but only the one this time around. And he, I think, had his best overall grade compared to how he has been playing thus far in the on the offensive line. Overall grade with a 69.2, 78.6 pass blocking grade, and a 58.3 run blocking grade. So there are still key areas for this offensive line to pay attention to going forward, especially to help get this Chiefs offense back into the swing of things and hope to get into an even record once more. The Chiefs have yet to play with a winning record this season, and I think that it's something that's frustrating them. Maybe they're playing a little bit too timid and less free. Who knows? But all in all, the offensive line, when looking at, I think overall, the starting offensive line did a very good job in this game. It really did keep Kansas City in it for the long haul. That being said, though, I would love to know your thoughts on the Chiefs starting offensive line. You can follow me over at Twitter on Twitter at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs as we prolong into the regular season. You can also follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI. I repeat, KC Chiefs on SI over on X. Everything gets posted there. You're not going to want to miss any coverage, whether that be columns, opinions, game recaps, podcast analysis, on-field interview, locker room interviews, you name it. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to get your Kansas City Chiefs news. And with that, as always, folks, be kind to one another, and I will see you tomorrow.